Good evening, everyone. Today I will be talking about 5 lessons that I will be approaching to my students. And my first lesson's name is called I'm Interested In. This class will be developed for the fair baccalaureate grade. The duration of the class will last 45 minutes. And the proficiency level of the students will be intermediate B2.2. And the lesson planner designer is my person, Camila Neira. The lesson plan is divided in different sections. I will be talking about the first section, which is about objectives, and the objectives is subdivided in 4 parts: the listening, speaking, reading, and writing objectives. The listening objectives will be about that students will be able to identify new vocabulary related to professionals, which will be the topic we will discuss about it. In the speaking objective, we'll be able to speak about professionals' life and which professions each student would like to have in the future. They will have to use suffixes from the names of professions. The reading objective will be about that the students will be able to recognize new vocabulary words and apply them in many tasks using verbs with prepositions. And the last objective is writing, and students will be able to write about what they would like to do in the future, which careers they would like to do to study, and they have to use all the vocabulary they learned and applied it in the writing objective. Then I will be talking about methodology and strategies. For methodology, I will be using communicative language teaching, total physical response, and audiolingual method. And for strategies, I will use the whole class work, which will include conversation, review answers from the worksheet, and then pair work, which will be including worksheets and speaking activities. My anticipatory set will be about that the teacher talks about her professional life as an English teacher and would like to ask the students which profession they would like to have in some future. And I will start my main teaching input doing a warm-up activity. The teacher We'll start the main teaching input with a warm-up activity, which is a great activity to always start the class because students need to always enroll themselves into the course and know about what they would like, what they will learn each course. And so in the warm-up activity, the teacher will begin the lesson with an interactive activity. The teacher will make a discussion about some popular professions in life, and students need to have some arguments about their advantages and disadvantages of these professions in life, because students need to always focus on the things that they think they are good for profession and the things that they are not good for professions. So it's a good discussion to enroll them into the learning topic. After the warm-up activity, the teacher explains some vocabulary about professionals with the use of suffixes. The teacher will write some definitions on the whiteboard, and students need to take notes. And I will use for this the audiolingual method. Then students will open the book on page 24 and 25 to be able to do the listening activity and complete the blank space with the above words. And for that, I will use the communicative activity method. Then teachers walk around the class to see if students are having some questions. Then the teacher and students will check the answers and listening activities. And everyone together will do the next activity, which is matching the definitions of new words. The whole class will work together because for me it's important that the students are divided for individual and group activities, And sometimes I like to work with the whole class because I think it's good thing when students are able just to participate when they really want. And some group activities are also really helpful for these activities because they can interact more with each other. And when they work by themselves is also very good because I really learn how much they can do in English. For the next part, students will discuss about what they would like to do in the future. They will have a few minutes to prepare, and then they will discuss it with his or her partner next to them. And then the teacher walks around and checks their correct pronunciation. And finally, the teacher will ask students some questions of the topic to evaluate the students' understanding of the class. The next part of my lesson is modeling. The examples that the teacher gives at the beginning of the class help students to have an idea of today's topic and also to introduce some parts of the class. With this kind of task, students will learn easily and they will pass their knowledge. Then the guide practice. Students develop a discussion activity about their future expectations as professionals. Also, students will be able to participate during the class, reviewing new vocabulary and ask multiple questions when they have it. For me, it's very important, as I said before, that students, when they are working all together or in group, for me it's very important that they ask me many questions, because in group they always come up with some new questions that they are not able to answer them by themselves. And for me, it's very important that the students are able to raise their hands and ask me new questions, which I know the answers, probably most of them. And when I don't know it, I will search for it, but I will have in my mind a question. And for me, it's very important because that's the way when students get to learn more English and pass their knowledge. Then the independent practice, students will have some independent activities such as reading, listening, writing activities. They will use their book and some worksheets to be able to complete the tasks. Assessment. Students will see some types of personality photos to identify each one of professions. So I will show them some pictures related to some professions, which involve nursing, teaching, working as a doctor, a dentist, a vet, and I will show them very important professions which are really common nowadays. And students need to identify the kind of how are they called, and they also need to give some characteristics about each one of the professions, because I'm teaching older students, which are teenagers, and I know that they are supposed to know some things in English. So it's good for me when I'm talking to teenagers and explaining an activity, and I am expecting a little more of talking, because in my class will be really productive with all the proper skills of English, listening, speaking, reading, writing. But for me, it's very essential when I hear them English that they can speak and use all the vocabulary that we acknowledge and use it to form some sentences. Then closing view and follow up. The teacher will ask the students to review, to interview their parents about their profession. Students need to write an argumentative essay where they have to describe their interview and make some statements whether they liked their parents' career or not and why. So in this part, it's very essential for me because I will analyze how much they can interpret everything on English, and it's very easy, the task. They just need to interview their parents and translate the things in English and write some bullet points for interviewing, and then writing the argumentative essay will have the full construction of the instruction, then the introduction, then the first argument, the second, and the third if it's another third, and each argument needs to have a sub-argument which will provide some examples about the career, whether they like or not, and at the end they have to list their opinions. This essay is very particularly good because students will see how much English they can write, and if they are using some vocabulary that we approach it in the class. And to conclude the class, the teacher will ask some questions related to the topic and ensure that students have aimed the class. Thank you very much.